daily and weekly candle closes just came in. And the weekly candle close for XRP shows you the odds for something like this playing out here is now higher. So the thought process we discussed yesterday and 10 days before was now highly valid. Next question is, on a short term, Bitcoin is starting to show you it's about to pull back down to this trend line support. So if that is the micro move which you should anticipate in this market, how can that play in to the next macro move? Are we going further higher? Are we going lower? That's the question. And there you have to go onto a daily chart to see how the candles actually closed. Now, if you're asking yourself the easy question, the moving average is to the upside on a daily, the moving average is on the upside on a 4-hour, the moving average, if you go on a macro chart, 3-day, is starting to tilt back to the upside. On a weekly, you stay on Bitcoin weekly and it suggests I'm now above the moving average. So the moving average on a weekly is starting to tilt. 3-day, daily, 4-hour, it's already tilting, which means opportunity zone is live. But that's where whales would like to play their game. And this is exactly where you should not fall for it. And that is why we were talking about the possibility. And remember, it's not after that happens. The thing with the SI family is that we give you things before it happens. Just 2 hours back, I was arguing, if Bitcoin breaks higher here, watch for a fake out. That was live back then because the price was showing you I'm about to break higher, while the MACD crossed to the downside and the price to RSI was making a negative divergence. I argued the exact same point. Now you go onto the micro chart, we followed it up and it happened to become just that, a fake out. You see that the price went up to 65,000 and then came back down to 64 and just below 64. Now, did that change the narrative on the macro? Did that change the pattern, the structure? No, it didn't. So what should you be expecting for next 2 weeks to 2 months to 3 months? Are you looking for further downside or is there a blow off coming? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. While you're in the crypto market and you're looking through the details, understand the trend for a week, for a month, for a quarter matters a lot. That's why you need to go into the total return rates for all of these assets. Look for the quarterly. If the quarterly kind of shows you it's going down while the yearly is still up, it shows you it's nearing a perfect opportunity, and then you combine it with the 7-day. You're watching whether it's now coming back to the yearly trend. That's one of the easy way to look for it. Next is to look for assets which are trending higher on the macro and then starting to trend higher on the micro and the medium. That means they are attracting more capital right now. They're starting to take more liquidity, which is good. Now, say you go onto the Bitcoin or XRP, looking at the weekly chart. So the weekly chart, why would I say let's expect the 0.49 mark? You look at the weekly chart in XRP and the price action shows you one candle to the downside that pushed the price from 0.6 all the way down to 0.51 is still active. The range has not been invalidated. So we are still in that range. 1. After that, it took 1, 2, 3 weeks to come up and close just below that. That shows we don't have huge buying strength. Now, when you go on a weekly and zoom in with the price action, you get to see there was a bit of increase in the buying activity in the volume, and that helped the price action. And that's why I was saying, yes, the price should do this, but then it should go up because the sentiment is turning bullish with a lot of retail being confused and slowly moving out. So you just take a line chart for XRP on a weekly, and it gives you the perfect argument saying that we're breaking higher. We're kind of moving up. That's a positive thing. You see the price has already pushed the RSI above. So you got the breakout on the weekly on the RSI. It's a great sign and it's bouncing back up. Now, micro test will happen. That's why I was arguing in next 5 days, you're going to get the monthly candle close. And as soon as you get the monthly candle close, watch which direction it's moving. Is it showing you negative impact? Is it showing you bullish one? This is going to be key because on the other side, Bitcoin, which kind of guides the market, is showing you it's pushing further to the upside. So remember, we discussed about these higher low formation, which suggested the price should go up. And we talked about an $8,000, $10,000 increase from that point. And we saw that. Now, what does the candles show you? Does the candles argue that the price should go down? On a 3-day chart, what the price argues is that now I'm above the moving average. I'm trying to push the price further high. But if you do look at things a little bit clearly, you can argue the fact that the price should retest the moving average and bounce. That would make the most of the current scenario for bulls because they would be able to attract more buying power close to $60,000. Now, say the pattern is valid, the measured move of the pattern is valid, then you can extrapolate that to the upside, which takes you further high. But say you're not looking at that medium term pattern, rather you're a momentum guy. You're going on a weekly chart, you're taking, say, Bitcoin weekly Heikin-Ashi. And this kind of gives you an idea that for last 20 months, this is important, guys, don't miss this. Last 20 months, the price of Bitcoin turning green on a weekly, breaking above the 21-day moving average, has ended up in something perfect for the bulls in this market. The price initially pushed further high, like 65% move. Then, after the breakout, it went up 150%. In both scenarios, say you are bear for the macro market, you would argue the 1, the 2 is done, now we're going for the 3. Fine, I'm with you. I agree. That means wave 3 should be equal or smaller than wave 1. Okay, let's take from the breakout of the moving average, just like we did for all those, and argue, okay, 64 or below. That means 105,000 or below for Bitcoin. And that's the blow off for Bitcoin in the wave 3, which historically has created a FOMO in the altcoin market. So you look at the trend and you say, it makes a lot of sense. The bottom was in here, then we retested it and bounced off. So the bounce from 25,000 all the way up to 75,000 was from that trend line. Now you revisited that trend line and you're trying to bounce off. What should you be expecting? Should you believe the trend line or should you go for the conspiracy? Should you agree with the pattern that it is developing a bull flag, or should you go with the naive structure? In the market, you need to understand what the highest odds scenario is. Because it can be a wave 3 just like this, where it pulls off an ABC and then goes for the 1, 2, 3, 4 to the other direction. So right now the trend is your friend. You get to see the 1, 2, 3. Right now the trend is your friend. You get to see the 1, 2, 3. So if that's true and you get to see the 1, 2, 3, watch how the price action would behave from here. Because Bitcoin doing that would give the altcoin market a total renewal. And when I say a renewal, you have to go on the weekly chart, just use the same tools for the altcoin market. And look at this. We're still below the moving average. We didn't erase that. Now, if you do put the perspective of the trend and the pattern, you can argue this easily. We are in a bull flag trying to break higher. We didn't break higher yet. The Bitcoin dominant side of the equation kind of gives you the idea we need to go down, but it's not showing you it is going down. So whether you like this or not, the weekly moving average is still below this, which shows it's still trending up on a weekly. It's still trending up on a 3-day. Now you go further. You zoom in on a daily chart for the Bitcoin dominance and you see it's all green. Now, at that point comes in the technical side of the equation. Yes, the momentum is in favor. It's pushing higher. It's showing you it's going further up. That's where you look for the total market and the divergence. If you are familiar with these patterns, you already know what we saw before. You've experienced these kind of moves in the market. How many of you remember the calls we made on Terra Luna? How many of you do really remember that? Say you pick up Luna here, you look at the macro chart. Now, the macro chart, say you take a 3-day or a weekly, and it gives you this. When this pattern in front of you, the rising wedge, extends like this, the third touch is usually a bad one, just like you can see here. So it's not just saying things after it comes into the picture, it's the SR family. We talk about these before it happens. Back in that day, I was saying it's important to understand rising wedges are indicating a correction, and taking profits may not be a bad option. Now, you saw what happened after that. Now, I was not expecting this kind of a drop. Yeah, I was looking for a 50 to 60% drop, not this. Then you see similar reversal structure, whether it's Celsius, whether it's FTT. We called all of them out. Why? Because the price action was showing you that's possible. Now come on to the Bitcoin dominance and look at a 3-day chart. Do you see something similar? I would argue so. I would say the price action is starting to form something like that. The moment it breaks to the downside, it's going to be something like this, which historically means the altcoins go crazy during that time. You've seen those. This was the 2021 run-up. This was the 2017 run-up. Whether you fall for the 2021 to repeat here or the 2017 to repeat here, I would say let's be a little bit conservative. Let's argue that the price is at the resistance. It's going to fake out and come back down, but it's going to revive at the support. So we're not talking about much bigger move than 2017 for the total market. But for few assets, it's going to be mind-boggling because they will come back up after 2021, and last time they didn't get that boost. Some of these assets show last time the project was doing exceptionally well in price terms. After that, the project, the fundamentals went up sky high. Now it's still a medium to micro cap, small cap. It can go nuts. It can increase substantially in the price. So when the market shows you it's about to guide you into the right direction, watch for the momentum. If the momentum fades, you get a rejection here. Okay, you agree with the momentum. But as of now, it does not show you it is doing that. Rather, on a monthly, it's showing you tried being red for a couple of months, long wicks to the downside, but you are not watching it dropping. And that's exactly where the wave 3 comes into the picture. Whether that's a small move like this, which looks small, but if you measure that, that's a 130% move. Say you are just looking at that 130% move. When you talk about the price, it goes way beyond what we talked about. 100,000, 105,000. This goes about 110. That means the argument which we are making here is based on what? The macro direction. Not all of us would neglect that this is still in the picture. If you put all these stops, you're not going against anything. You're just connecting all these stops. And you would argue, okay, if that's so, we'll top out near this. We may not have too much to the upside like this. Now it can be a little up, a little down. What I'll do is I'll put that into 2 so that we are accurate as much as possible. That's like 92 to 100 is going to be the key range. You may fake out just like we saw last 3 times. And if we put that in, 105, 107 is the right range. So you better understand that the market is about to do this without giving yourself and your positions for the short-term move. Because when you come onto a 3-day chart, say you enter a position based on the 3-day chart. This was one entry, right? You broke to the upside. This was another entry. But the price came back to retest the moving average before it bounced off. In both cases, it's fine. Whether this was your entry or this was your entry or this, you still made profits. You sold when it turned red. So it's easy at this point. 7 out of 10 times, whenever you saw this, the price action was continuing to the upside. And if you combine that with any drop in the market, 20+%, that was the perfect time to buy. So if you look at the current price action, we dropped 30%. That's something, isn't it? Now, if you combine it with the divergence, you have a bullish divergence. That's, again, showing you whales are entering or the smart money is entering. They're not looking at the micro case scenario where the price may drop. Rather, they're focusing more on buying it in this range. I would argue they would be looking at this total range because they are looking for something like this. They would be looking for 62,000, and that's still possible. So while that happens, some of these altcoins coming back down, say XRP, to the trend line of 0.54 or to the bottom of 0.49 shouldn't be a surprise because we're not getting a breakout. I would love to see this breaking to the upside from this trend line. But if it does not break higher, we'll have to go with the market because the market shows you it's right than what we think. Yeah, we want it to go higher, but it's not. So let's follow the market. And if you want all these updates at the right time before you panic and jump in, it's breaking higher, let me go in. No, don't do that. Be in the SI family and get the idea that it can be a fake out at this point with all the indicators saying it can be a fake out. Use the link in the description. Join the SI family with 1,200 members and use this information to improve your portfolio. If you received value, smash that like button for me. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.